everyone, I'm Crafty Kate and I run a small crochet business. On this channel we talk all things yarn and crochet. For this week's video I wanted to do a quick little how-to for you guys using Snuggle Beans Crochet's Splooter patterns. I've been really into making those, and several of you have asked how I add weighted pellets to the bodies and then also how I sew my heads on so they kind of sit up but are still able to sploot. So I have been working hard the last couple days to get a sploot ready to go. It's one I've never made before. So this is the little fox sploot from Shannon from Snuggle Beans Crochet. The pattern also comes with a wolf, so you can make a fox or a wolf. I just love the way this little face turned out. So these eyes are actually hand painted by What's Up Cupcake, Christine, and they are gorgeous. And then I used Elise Veludo for this one, a 6mm hook, and I'm not sure what size this safety nose is, but there's that. So I have the little head done, and then I have the body up until the point where I add the weighted pellets. So here is the body. Too cute. So for the bodies, I always do, she has two versions, typically a shorter version and then a long version. The long version just gives you a little bit more room to add pellets and have it be a little squishier, if that makes sense. So I always do the longer body version, and then I'll show you what I do to close up the head after we do the weighted pellets. So let me grab my weighted pellets and all my supplies and we'll go over that, and then we'll get this guy put together. He is going to be so cute. I am so excited. Okay, so I'll go over all the supplies real quick and then I'll take you over there where you can see my hands and how I'm doing it. So first of all, you're going to need poly pellets. So I got these off Amazon. I will have these linked down in my Amazon store, and I really like these ones. I have also used the Polyfill brand ones. You can get those from Amazon as well, and I love those just as much. So I'll have both of those linked down in my Amazon store. And then you will need some nylon legging sock type things. So I use the knee-high ones, and those are the perfect size for the sploots and anything really that I've used them for. I like to double them up, so I end up using a whole one for the sploots. I think I got these at Walmart. I am watching my parents' dogs, so we have 5 dogs here right now, and it is chaos. But yeah, I got these from Walmart, but I think you can also get them from Amazon, so I will have them linked below as well. And then you will need a cup for scooping the pellets out of your bag or whatever they're in, and then a glass or some kind of taller cup to put your sock in to hold it open. I have tried to do it. I got lazy and didn't want to get a cup, and I have tried to do it without the cup, and it is an absolute mess if you mess up, which I have done. So highly recommend a glass or cup of some sort. And then obviously your plushie body. So I'll take you over there to show you how I fill it up and how I tie it and all that stuff. Okay, so here are all our supplies ready to go. So first you'll take your little sock and open it up and just put it over the top of your cup, and that opens it up so you can pour your pellets inside. And then I don't have an exact measurement for how many pellets I use. I just kind of test it in the body until it feels right. So I don't have an exact measurement. A smaller measuring cup might work better. Okay, so then we'll take that out and test it. So that is a decent amount, but I think we're going to want a little bit more. You can see the size difference there. So the camera a little, try not to bump it. Okay, we'll add a little more. Okay, and then to really see how it fits, it's kind of a pain, but I like to tuck it down into the body to see how it's going to actually feel. So It's kind of a pain because you don't have it knotted yet. But you just kind of get it started and then slowly stuff it in there. You want to be a little gentle with the nylon. You don't want to puncture a hole in it. Okay, so you see all the pellets fit down inside there, and it's still got some good squish. So I'm going to call that good. Seems perfect. So I don't want to tie it while it's in there because I'm going to double it. So I'm going to pull it back out carefully. Maybe. Okay. So I don't want it to be too tight in the bag because that will make it less squishy. So I kind of let it relax in there and see where it lands and then tie a knot. I tie it really, really tight. So you can see it's nice and squishy. And then I just double it back over, stick my hand in there, grab the ball, double it back over, and then let it relax again. And then I tie another knot here. And again, you don't want it right up against the pellets. You want to give it a little bit of room, but you want the knot really tight. And then because this part is so much thicker and I don't want like a ball of fabric inside my plushie, I usually cut this off. So just right below that, I'll cut. So then this is my little bag of pellets that I'll put back in there. So we'll add that back to the body. And again, be careful, you don't want to puncture it. Just kind of slowly work it down in there. And there we go. And I don't add any stuffing or anything else in there, just the pellets. So now we'll close this up and sew the head on. Okay, so here we are with our body open still with the pellets inside. So I actually saw Stacy from Stacy Makes. She talked about how she does one more half a row of single crochet across the top to give it a little more, because if you see, if you pinch it together, this ends up lower than that side, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like 7 more single crochets to the other side, and then I'm going to single crochet them together, if that makes sense. So I'll try to show you what I'm doing. So right now I'm at the very end of the row where the pattern ends, and she tells you to single crochet them together, and I'm just going to do those stitches over to the other side and then single crochet them together. Okay, hopefully you could kind of see what I did there or understand what I meant. You just make half a row extra and then single crochet them together, and you want it to be nice and even, so I frogged back because I didn't have enough stitches across the top to make it even, so I just evened it out. You want it to be nice and even, just like that. And then all I do with the head that's different, I put it in the exact same spot that she says in the pattern. So you just basically hold it how it would sploot and put the head where it lands. And then, so you have it basically the middle of the bottom. So I'll sew that across, and then I just kind of tack it back a couple rows. That way when it sits, it doesn't fall forward. So I just add some extra tacking. So I'll try to show you as I do this. It's gonna be a little tricky to show you, but so I just sew it straight across there. So I'll show you when I have that part done, and then we'll talk about how I tack it. Okay, so first I just use army sticks to hold it in place, not worrying about tacking. So I have it lined up perfectly there. The army sticks kind of go through in a weird spot back there. But so we're just gonna sew straight across to get all that attached and floppy, and that's how she has you attach it in the pattern. So right now we're just following the pattern. So I'm gonna do that, and then I will show you the rest. Okay, so I have the head attached. So you can see he does the little sploot. And then the way she usually has them sitting is kind of with their legs resting on their other legs, and then it holds their head up. So you can leave it just like this with the head really floppy. But I like it to sit with the legs on the table. It's hard to show, but so his head would be up more like this. So instead of flopped forward and down, this one actually doesn't look too bad because his face is really on the front, if that makes sense. But so I want his legs down low and then his head kind of popped up like that. So you can see on the back, if you put his head like that, he's just kind of resting a couple stitches back, a couple rows back. And if you look at him when he's splooting, he also does the same thing. So tacking it back a little bit does not mess with the sploot capability. It just simply holds the head up more like this instead of like this. And this one, like I said, it's not a huge deal because it looks pretty good, but I do want it tipped back just a little bit. So all I'm going to do is take like a row above where I sewed and then attach it a row below. So that'll tack it farther back and down and make it a little less floppy. So here's where it's attached. I kind of missed a little bit, but since we're tacking it, it doesn't matter if that's even. So I'm just going to take where we ended here and go up a little bit and go almost all the way across. So you can see in here, out there. And then I'm going to take that and tack it down here. So we're going to go in like right there and all the way across doing the same thing. So in there, out there, and then pull tight. And that will just tack it down. So then you're going to go back in the head, the same spot you came first time, and just do that a couple times. Pull it tight each time to kind of cinch it back a little bit. Okay, and then before I tie a knot, I just like to sit it up and make sure it's doing what I want it to do. And, okay, so now when he puts his legs down, his little head sits like that instead of falling forward. And the back doesn't look any different, it just is cinched a little bit back. So I hope that made sense, but like with the moose and the lions, the way their head fell forward, their whole face was like down like that. So I just think it adds just a little bit of cuteness when they're sitting, and then they can still sploot just perfectly. So there is that. Let me get this guy all finished up, and then I will show you one more time. Okay, so here's a good example of him sitting up, and you can see his head was like this, and now it's more like that. So you can see it's just propped back just a tiny bit to keep it up. And like I said, it's not a huge deal with this fox, but with the other ones, it made a big difference. And then he will still sploot and looks absolutely adorable. So there we go. Okay guys, I hope you found that helpful. I think that's just about all I have to share with you about the sploots. I don't really change anything else about them. I love the weighted feeling, especially this guy. This tail is large and heavy, so the weight in the middle really makes him kind of proportionate and so cute. So all the sploots that I make, I add weighted pellets, and I just love the way it makes them feel. So that's all I have for this guy, and then I do have some exciting news. I will be pattern testing for Snuggle Beans Crochet again for one of her horse patterns, so you can look forward to that. I'm super excited to get started on that and make one of the horses. It's been on my list since she posted a sneak peek and her little mod for the zebra pattern, so I'm super excited to get to make some of the horses that she's coming out with, so stay tuned for that. For an emoji down in the comments for making it all the way to the end of this video. Let's do a fox if you can find one. So cute. I'm in love with this little guy. He will be posted on my website and my Etsy soon. And then if you like content like this, don't forget to subscribe. Let me know if you have any more questions or pattern tips and tricks you'd like me to go over, or anything that you can think of. I would love to help you guys out. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!